Jerusalem is the beating heart of Israel, its capital city, thought to be some 5,000 plus years old. And in the heart of Jerusalem is a thriving hive of the old city, fabled and ancient, many times devastated and rebuilt, with holy sites for Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Today you will walk from the Mount of Olives opposite, explore the Garden of Gethsemane, and then through the Zion Gate into Jerusalem itself, discovering the old city. On this journey you will see the city at ground level and walk in the very footsteps of Jesus. On the Mount of Olives outside the old city of Jerusalem, you will find the largest and holiest Jewish cemetery in the world. Unlike in the West where flowers are placed, it is a custom here to place a small rock on the graves out of respect, a tradition dating back thousands of years.
Once in a lifetime. I said it once, I'll say it time and again. You, my love, I'll be yours still.
Located on the Mount of Olives in East Jerusalem, in the Garden of Gethsemane, is the Roman Catholic Church of All Nations, also known as the Church or Basilica of the Agony. Inside, you will find a section of bedrock where Jesus is said to have prayed immediately before his arrest.
Once in a lifetime, we're gonna be alright, even on the line, 'cause our love is once in a lifetime.
Close to the Church of All Nations is the tomb of the Virgin Mary and the Grotto of Gethsemane. It was here in the grotto where Jesus and his followers are said to have stayed while in the area, and where he was betrayed by Judas. Below this grate in the current floor is the original floor of the grotto. It is at that level where large round rocks are said to have been, where the disciples slept. The name Gethsemane means oil press, and the presence of such rocks indicates the existence of those ancient oil presses.
We're gonna be alright. I'm yours, you're mine. Our love is once in a lifetime.
Here, at the Zion Gate, you can truly appreciate the scale of the walls of the old city, walls that still bear the scars of battle throughout the ages. Walking into the gate, it turns immediately to the right, which, if they breach the outer gate, was designed to make for a deadly bottleneck for invading armies trying to battle their way in. Immediately inside, with the two young boys walking to school, you are reminded that the old city of Jerusalem is a living city of some 36,000 people, not just a destination for tourists. The old city was built, sacked, rebuilt, and sacked again many times over thousands of years. This constant rebuilding means the true foundations of old Jerusalem are below the current ground level. This you can see in this old bazaar, walking down the steps to see the original ground level there, with a depiction of what the old marketplace may have resembled.
Take my hand. There's a better life ahead.
The Jewish quarter of the old city, approximately 15 acres in size, was largely destroyed in 1948 when the Jordanians took it over, but has since been rebuilt and restored after 1967 when Israel reclaimed it.
There's a better life. I'll be the heart that's yours through the peace and dark wars when we're
As you round the corner, the western or Wailing Wall comes into view. It's what remains of the retaining wall surrounding the Temple Mount, the site of the first and second temples of Jerusalem. The first temple was destroyed by the Babylonians in 587 to 586 BC, and the second temple was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. Known as the most holy site in the Jewish faith, its significance is that it's the last remnant of the original retaining wall which surrounded the second temple.
There's a better
This is the Church of Mary of the Greek Orthodox, one claimed location for the birthplace of the Virgin Mary. As you can see, once again you walk down below the current ground level into a crypt below. Is this her actual birthplace? Well, that's a matter of faith. And like other places of religious significance in and around Jerusalem, a place of worship is built on it, and its authenticity is a mixture of belief, historical interpretation, archaeological discovery, and tradition. On this day you can see thousands of the Muslim faithful making their way to the Temple Mount on the last day of Ramadan, through the narrow stone streets of the old city. Tracing the steps of Jesus, you will find the monastery of the Flagellation in the Muslim quarter of Jerusalem. It is believed this is the location where Jesus was flogged by the Roman soldiers. Once again descending below ground, you can see here what is believed to be a prison, much like that where Jesus was held.
The Lord bless you and keep you in everything that you do. Take heart. When you were 8, your daddy said, never take your life for granted. Believe in second chances, my love. When the world spins madly on, remember that you.
Was this hole his cell? No one really knows, but this leaves you with at least a fractional understanding of what he may have seen at that time.
Came true. When you laugh, when you cry, I'll be always on your side, and thank God for you and me. When you were 12, your brother said, I will always have your back. When you're happy, when you're sad, through it all. When you were 16, your auntie said, I remember my first broken heart. Don't let it steal your spark, my love.
Taking time away from the throngs below, you can sample a unique view across the top of the city. Many of the residents within the city have more than one generation of family living there. But the only way to house an additional generation in that same home may be to build up with another story added. Going down isn't practical, as it would inevitably unearth archaeologically significant findings which would then take precedence and could pose significant issues for the family living there.
When we're older, we will say, what a life, I think we made it. We worked hard and never said quit, my love. When we're older, the kids will say, the Lord bless.
Walking through the narrow old streets,
Everything
you can just imagine what life was like back in ancient times. Slight streets built with foot traffic only in mind, with merchants and their wares, craftsmen and families all living, interwoven into the colourful fabric of this thriving city.
When you laugh, when we cry, I'll be always on your side, and thank God for you and me. Thank God for you and me.
Deep in another subterranean cavern, you find here a cistern where water is collected from rain or from a spring. This is a place rarely seen by most visitors, but it illustrates how a city provides for its daily needs and how, in ancient times, its inhabitants could survive with the necessities of life during a siege, for example. This is a small Ethiopian church inside Jerusalem, and the small area in which they live, with the simple structures very much resembling their basic architecture of their homeland. This is another example that emphasizes the cultural, religious, and ethnic diversity of this great melting pot called the Old City of Jerusalem. So many of the narrow streets within the city are teeming with life, and stores loaded with merchandise of all shapes and sizes. Everything you need to live, and an extra large helping of souvenirs for the many tourists and pilgrims who frequent Jerusalem at all times. For Christianity, the center of the city, indeed the very center of Christianity, is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Inside is a grand, winding, varied, and interwoven series of stations, altars, churches, and rooms built primarily on and around the site of Jesus' crucifixion, Calvary or Golgotha, and his empty tomb where he was both buried and resurrected. In one part you can be in the Roman Catholic area, turn the corner and find yourself in the Orthodox area. The decor, adornments, shrines, murals, designs, and indeed every aspect seemingly of all walls, rooms, chapels, and corners hold great significance of so many kinds that it's almost religious overload to anyone trying to understand everything before them. The one thing you do understand is that this is a place of great importance, a place most holy, and to all the prayerful there, indeed the most holy. You will not be able to fully absorb the deep meaning of everything here, as there are so many places and items of importance. Walk slowly through, and for the time you're there, become part of it all. Touch the walls, walk the floors, and surround yourself in the deep history of such a place of reverence.
One look is all it took for me to get a little closer, babe. One kiss is all you did to make me fall in love.
All you see here is within the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. The focal point, though, undoubtedly, is the tomb. The empty tomb that you can walk into yourself and see where the body of Jesus was laid to rest.
To me, this is heaven. I don't need a lot of anything if I have your love. No money, no fancy things could replace all the hurting, the loving, and all that's in between. If I have you, my love, I don't need anything.
One word of caution is that you need to spend sufficient time here to fully appreciate what you see, feel, and hear. It's easy to walk around and try to see it all and forget to pause and feel it. Take your time when you visit and make the most of this breathtaking, most special and holy place.
Eyes wide open. To me, this is heaven. I don't need a lot of anything if I have your love. No money, no fancy things could replace all the hurting, the loving, and all that's in between.
In one of the Russian Orthodox churches close to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, there is an ancient city gate known as the Eye of the Needle. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God, according to Jesus from Matthew 19 verse 24. Is this small hole in the wall that fabled eye of the needle he speaks? Or is it the gate itself? Again, much is open to interpretation and belief. Here is an open meat market, very different from what one would expect in a grocery store in America, Europe, or Australia. Their offerings, unwrapped and open, hang and sit, waiting for a buyer, sometimes dripping blood to the floor. Speaking previously of the variety available, you can see just how much there is. The shopkeepers and merchants are many, but to sample the most of this city, you probably won't have time to go from shop to shelf, else you'll miss too much.
Choosing love in the midst of tragedy. When I met you, something changed in me. I'm better with you than I'll ever be. 'Cause when you walk into a room, life gets a little sweeter. When I look at you, I see a little clearer. Through the years and every change, we'll put up a fight. 'Cause you're my love, my everything. You are my life. We moved west towards the city. Grew up fast and got a little gritty. We found love, worked hard. Bought a house with a big backyard. When I met you, something changed in me. I'm better with you than I'll ever be. 'Cause when you walk
By following a walking tour, you have been able to get a real feel for the old city of Jerusalem, to see the highlights, and to better understand how its winding streets and alleys wrap their magic and mystery all around you. This really is a magnificent place that you need to see in person, a place that will always remain with you. If you have been and have tips you can pass on, comment below so others can gain from your experience. Then, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to venture near and far.